Hey everyone, Happy New Year. I'm going to do a vendor review. It's actually probably one of the most important parts of doing a project is getting the relationship with vendors sorted and getting the right parts from the right vendors. It makes a big difference, either positively or negatively. So I'm just going to run through the top ones. I have a list here and I've got a lot of their websites pulled up. I, like everyone else, found a lot of stuff on eBay and Amazon. There's no question that from a sort of ease of access to a global market, both of those platforms are amazing. A lot of vendors will list on their own websites and also list on eBay and list on Amazon. Google's, wonderful. A lot of these forums, the one I spend a lot of time on, VW Vortex. There's others, obviously, but the community of people that are in the enthusiast category can save your life. There's several examples where, because of my online presence with the Ultimate Rabbit GTI, it's not Ultimate GTI, but Ultimate 83 Rabbit GTI project, why that presence benefited. Bidirectionally, it obviously benefits other people learning about my mistakes and my successes and how I went about solving problems, like posting this video, but all the feedback that has been invaluable to me, where people say, hey, you put that in upside down, or have you thought about this, or here's a way to solve that problem that you're struggling with. That's just incredibly important, right? That's the internet benefit to these projects. So anyway, let's get going. Obviously, I think the guy that I hold up that built my motor, Josh Arnold, he was originally with Techtonics, and Techtonics has a long history. You can go on their website and you can read about the history, but basically when Volkswagen was first imported, VW bugs were first imported into the United States, the California, Los Angeles distributor had a basic tie-in to the founders of Techtonics, and so you're dealing with people that are at the very beginning of in the North American side of things, and practically globally, we're right there at the beginning, servicing, supporting, and modifying and improving Volkswagen products. Josh's dad spent years, and still does, working on air-cooled motors, and Josh himself learned the trade on air-cooled before he switched over to water-cooled. And so Techtonics is a fantastic place to go, and certainly to talk to their people. They know their stuff, and there's so many parts of my project that are Techtonics based. So not only was the engine through Josh and Techtonics, and most of the engine parts either came from them or through them, or referenced by them, and a custom exhaust system with the custom 1 3/4 inch racing headers for the tall deck block ABA ABF motor that I am with the 9/8 cylinder heads. That's the requires custom exhaust. So all that stuff came through them. Another great one, VW Heritage in the UK. A little expensive for North American people to get the shipping across, but if you buy enough stuff, the shipping doesn't become such a burden. So you sort of make notes, buy as many things as possible at one go. Some stuff you just can't seem to get anywhere else. It's just a long list of great things on VW Heritage's website, and they often tie into a few other suppliers as well. So it's sort of a bit of a one-stop shop. Not always the least expensive option, but sometimes they'll have it and no one else will have it. So great support and service from Techtonics, obviously. Great support and service from VW Heritage. Very fast shipping. Nothing bad to say about these guys. ESC Tuning on the US side of things, ended up buying quite a bit of stuff through ESC. They support a lot of later model stuff, but they do a great job on the Mark 1s. And good pricing, great shipping, responsiveness. I haven't used them for tech support, never talked to them on the phone, but I've always found that when clicking on them, things have been good. American, I used to work on a lot of muscle cars and stuff. It's still a part of my DNA as American muscle cars. So had a big Chevelle project about 15 years ago, 20 years ago that I was working on, and it was Canada's fastest street legal car, running almost 1,400 horsepower. So these guys helped me build that car way back when, and then we did an S10 pickup truck, pro stock, 200 mile an hour, quarter mile car, and these guys again stepped up and provided a lot of key components. It was natural for me to go back to Summit, so buying things like fuel pumps or whatever. I mean, these guys have a ton of stuff, a lot of fittings, a lot of my AN fittings. AN stands for Army Navy, and that's actually the U.S. military from the Second World War. So the AN fittings are the quick disconnect fittings for fuel lines, for instance. You know, boom, with these guys. So, and my coolant system. Very, very happy with Summit. Again, very responsive, good prices, very competitive, good tech support. Nothing bad to say about Summit. Small firm, love these guys. EAA Engineering. You know, I got my whole serpentine pulley system from them. Their ABF serpentine conversion system, sweet stuff. They were instrumental in working with me on getting the Quaife limited slip differential, not the limited slip differential, sorry, the rack and pinion system. Get it all sorted out. So these guys are really amazing. I had a problem with the bracket recently. Boeing, they were shipping me like a replacement made out of stainless steel because we felt that was a better option than the aluminum one that had snapped. And these guys are awesome. So small firm, definitely worth supporting. You know, you gotta have bolts for things. Stainless steel bolts are not always the best solution because stainless is not as strong from a tensile perspective as say a grade 8.8 or even, yeah, so, you know, stainless is less strength than an 8.8, certainly less strength than a 10.9 bolt, but it doesn't oxidize. So wherever strength wasn't critical, I typically use stainless. Stainless bolts tend to be a bit slippery. You gotta be careful, they'll back off easy, so you gotta use, you know, either lock washers or say, you know, some thread locking compounds. But yeah, tons and tons of stuff from Bolt Depot. Really enjoyed working with them. Again, a little bit expensive on the shipping, so you want to bulk up as much of the order as possible. Okay, so Mecatechnic out of, I guess it's, is it France? Again, a specialty, old school, lots of old, new, old stock kind of VW stuff. You know, they're one of a series of companies I'll talk about that are sort of specialists in getting the old school, hard to find parts. Didn't use them a ton, but some things were critical. They were the only guys that had them. Often VW Vortex will link into their stuff. Parasol. The interior of my car, all of the re-dyeing, all of the recoloring of the plastics and sort of repair, pretty much all of it came from Parasol Inc. out of Ontario in Canada, and just really tough, incredibly durable plastic paints that won't delaminate. Follow the instructions, do the prep properly, and it'll bring your interior back to life. A little bit of stuff out of Black Forest Industries in the States. Certainly, again, once in a while, you know, they would have something that no one else would have. Small vendor, just used them recently, but worth speaking to. Bolt Action out of the Netherlands. Really awesome shipping. These guys were out FedEx as quickly as they got a hold of the parts. This is in the case of my 25.4 millimeter master cylinder and brake proportioning valves. These guys had some unique bits and good pricing, so thank you to them. British firm, crazy bunch of guys, NOS Wizards of NOS. They've got these things called quadranoids, so they have these unique solenoids that very high performance for nitrous, specifically when you're trying to do progressive, when you're trying to pulse width modulate the solenoids. These guys have got so many cool ideas, and that's the digital way of controlling it is through PWM, but they've also got these analog, this Revo technology, where it's a progressive opening. It's still under digital control, but instead of pulsing the solenoid, it just twists the valve open and close and changes the flow rate. So I didn't use that because I didn't have the ability to control that by my computer, but those guys do a better job of nitrous than anybody else. The old school stuff that floats around, specifically in the North American markets, it's not garbage, it works, but this stuff is higher quality and it's just better thought out for a whole bunch of reasons. A lot of metal in my car that had to get replaced, a lot of custom metal work, custom brackets. I went to metal supermarkets, they're all over North America. They'll either ship stuff to you or you go pick it up. And I got to know the guys at my local shop in Vancouver, actually in Richmond, BC, and they're all a bunch of gearheads racing cars and stuff. And so, you're dealing with people that are dealing with the same problems you're dealing with. And again, same day service on custom metal orders. It was awesome. The bus depot, and then the next one, Airhead Parts. These are guys that support, obviously, the air-cooled motors. But guess what? The Mark 1 and to a degree the Mark 2 are full of seals and winder mechanisms and seat mechanisms that are all actually out of the old air-cooled parts bin from the bug days and the bus days. So sometimes you can get stuff a lot cheaper, and sometimes you just get stuff that people don't realize is cross-referenceable. So as I said, a lot of the stuff that goes to do with the window seals and a lot of the bolts. I was trying to find the original bolts, chrome bolts that hold the visors in place. Somehow I misplaced mine. And I just took a chance that the ones from the bug would work. And bang, for $1 I got like a whole package of 6 bolts to do my visors, and they were the right ones. So keep that in mind. So Airhead Parts is the same thing as Bus Depot. They're specialists in the the air-cooled guys. Kinsler Fuel Injection from the 1950s. These guys are still around. These are guys that were on the Bonneville Salt Flats in the old days, and lots of NASCAR racing. And anyway, they've gone digital, and they have a massive website with a massive online catalog for anything to do with fuel injection, and including a lot of quirky, hard-to-find parts. So these guys are just amazing and a great tech support. So let's give them a thumbs up. I had nothing but trouble with LWS Design in the UK after an initial good experience. They shipped me the carbon fiber hood, rear hatch, and bumpers, and a bunch of other bits, including all the Lexan windows. They screwed up in the windows and sent me Mark II windows. They also screwed up by sending me windows that were scratch resistant, Margard. They were the base Lexan. And then they just stopped talking to me. They just disappeared. And I've heard from other people that there's been some odd things going on with LWS management. But somebody that stepped into the void, another British company, ACW Motorsports Plastics, shipped me beautiful Lexan Margard windows, beautifully cut, beautifully finished. Can't say anything bad about these guys. They're awesome. Ended up only using the rear because of DOT certification problems, getting my car on the road. I couldn't do it with the Lexan, so boo-hoo. I got a little list. Want to see if I missed anybody here because I didn't get everyone's websites. So the guys that built my radiators, BS&S Radiators out in Ontario, built my radiators during a massive snowstorm, and these guys stayed up late and worked through the night to get me a custom radiator made for my car, and I really appreciate it, and 2 thumbs up for them. People that were a pain in the ass, Ron Davis Radiators, big guys doing a lot of American motorsport applications, snooty guys. After sitting on my order for 3 months, they never shipped it, eventually asked for my money back, and these guys knew what they were doing, building high-end race car radiators, but they ignored the little guy, which I thought was a fatal mistake on their part. They should take care of everybody, and my money just wasn't any good for them, I guess. So a little bit of a dig on those guys. I think I basically got it covered. There's a few other guys, and I like Crazy Quiffs out of the UK. You should pop up their website. Forgot to mention them earlier. Another awesome British firm. For whatever reason, the Brits are totally VW fanatics, and there's some great companies there supporting that kind of stuff. So Crazy Quiffs also has a good website with really hard to find new and stock parts. They did, for instance, all of my key locks. Really hard to get all that stuff, but I got the whole car done properly with rekeyed locks, all matching locks, and that really finished off the project. AT Power, another British firm that did my independent throttle bodies, smaller than some of the other guys. A lot of custom bits with what they did. Really, really nice. Very, very happy. Totally made the engine. SMS Automotive Fabrics did my interior cloth fabric. They sourced the original new old stock seat fabric, which is completely gone out of existence. You can't get it anymore. I got the last roll of it, or bolt of it, I guess. So they also did the headliner and provided me with the vinyl that I ended up coloring with the Parasol to do all the vinyl finishing of the interior. And did I miss anybody else? I'm sure I've missed others, and I apologize to other vendors if I've missed them. But anyway, so that's my vendor review. You know, it's not in any particular order. It's just the community, obviously, number one, and Googling around a little bit. But those vendors really hold their own, and they make these projects bearable. So, oh, and I'll just say there's a few guys that shipped me parts that I couldn't find anywhere, and some enthusiasts would provide me a dashboard for free. Not a dashboard, the dash panel and things like this. So I've been trying to give back and shipping out some parts to people that I have left over, and it's nice when people are willing to step up and help each other like that. So thank you to people that really supported me that way as well. Okay, that's it.